It was a cold Sunday afternoon in November 1970, when a man and his two young daughters were hiking deep in the Isdal Valley, also known to the locals as Death Valley. The forest was silent, the air sharp with frost, and the sky was beginning to darken. And then they saw her, a woman's body, or what was left of it, charred, twisted, half buried in ashes. Her arms bent upward, as if trying to shield herself from the flames. Her front was completely burned, but her back, strangely untouched. There were no screams, no sounds, no witnesses, just a smoking corpse in the middle of nowhere. She would become one of Norway's greatest unsolved mysteries. The more they uncovered, the stranger it got. This is the story of the Isdal woman, a ghost with no name, no past, and a trail of eerie clues that have terrified investigators for over 50 years. Welcome to the Gloom Zone, where true horror hides behind every headline. Strap in, because what you're about to hear is very real. The Bergen police arrived swiftly after the hikers reported the scene. What they found was more than disturbing. The woman had been badly burned, yes, but there were no signs of a campfire, no matches, no fuel cans nearby. Her clothes had strange traces of petrol on them, as if someone had intentionally set her ablaze. Around the body lay personal items, a bottle, a spoon, jewelry, a watch, all stripped of identification, even more bizarre. The labels on her clothes had been cut off, every single one, and then came the dental chart. When forensic experts examined her teeth, they found extensive dental work, gold crowns, precise fillings, the kind rarely seen in Norway at the time. It suggested she had money, maybe a foreign background. Maybe she wasn't supposed to be there at all. But the autopsy made things even worse. She didn't die from the fire. In her stomach, they found over 50 sleeping pills, enough to kill a dozen people. And yet her cause of death remained undetermined.
Ow.
The burns might have come after death, or she might have been alive when the fire started. Either way, someone wanted her gone, erased. A nationwide search began to figure out who this woman was. They published sketches, sent dental records abroad, asked anyone anywhere to come forward, and finally, a breakthrough. 2 suitcases turned up in a locker at the Bergen railway station. Claim ticket matched the day before her body was found. Inside the cases were clothes, wigs, makeup, and currency from several countries: Germany, Belgium, Britain, Norway. Even stranger, a notepad with cryptic codes and more labels cut out. And at the bottom of the case, prescription cream. But the name on it? Fake. Everything this woman carried was a lie. Investigators started tracing her steps across Norway. Hotel records. Witness statements. What they found chilled them. She had used at least 9 different aliases, often checking into hotels under different names, nationalities, and even hair colors. She wore wigs. She spoke multiple languages, sometimes German, sometimes French, sometimes English. One hotel employee recalled how she stayed in her room all day, barely eating, watching the hallway like she expected someone. Another remembered how she always asked for a room with a balcony or a view of the exit. She wasn't just hiding, she was monitoring, but from who? As her ghost-like movements were pieced together, theories exploded. Was she a spy, a fugitive, an assassin? Some believed she was a Soviet agent. Her dental work, her coded notes, her multiple passports, all pointed to espionage. And the time period fits. The Cold War was at its peak, and Norway was home to NATO operations. The Isdal Valley wasn't far from top-secret military testing sites. Others claim she may have been a victim of sex trafficking or a courtesan for powerful men who needed her silenced. Then there were the hikers. Just 2 days before her body was discovered, several people had reported seeing a striking woman hiking in the same valley. She was walking quickly, dressed in elegant clothes, clearly out of place in the rugged forest. A man followed closely behind her, tall, mysterious, dressed in black. Was he? And where did he go? No one has ever come forward. The authorities eventually ruled her death as suicide. Case closed. But many refused to accept that answer. Why would a suicidal woman carry wigs, coded notebooks, and multiple passports? Why use petrol to burn herself alive? Why remove every tag from her belongings? Why be so careful about not being found and then leave such a dramatic scene behind? Witnesses came forward years later, claiming they were told to keep quiet, that they saw strange men in suits at the scene before police arrived, that files had been removed from official records. Even her fingerprints, it said, mysteriously disappeared. Someone, or something, was covering this up. In recent years, journalists and forensic scientists have reopened the case. In 2016, new DNA testing suggested she might have been of European descent, possibly German or French. Facial reconstructions were made using 3D modeling, but no one recognized her. Still, the mystery held strong. People have tried to decipher her coded notes. One theory suggests it was a record of her movements: train stations, hotel rooms, flights. Another suggests it might be a cipher used only by intelligence agents. In 2021, investigators tracked down a man who had briefly spoken to her on a train decades earlier. He remembered she was elegant, beautiful, and spoke in a strange accent. He said she was nervous, looking over her shoulder. And when she got off the train, she vanished into the crowd, like a ghost. The Isdal woman has become Norway's most infamous unsolved case, a dark symbol of secrecy and paranoia. She had no friends, no family, no one to claim her. To this day, her grave bears no name. Just a marker, cold and lonely in the wind, visited only by strangers who whisper theories, and leave flowers for a woman whose truth may never surface. Oh, who was the Isdal woman? A Cold War spy eliminated for knowing too much. A woman on the run from something dark, or just someone who didn't want to be remembered. Maybe her death was no accident. Maybe she was silenced. Or maybe, just maybe, her death was the final move in a game no one even realized they were playing. Because if you think about it, what better cover is there than to become a ghost? If you think you've figured out the truth, or if you have your own dark theory, leave it in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Gloom Zone, and hit that bell. Because the next mystery might already be watching you from the shadows. Click on the next video to uncover another nightmare, based on true events.